Now, democratic twist in Pakistan's political power game. Deputy Speaker Qasim Suri has rejected the no-confidence motion, citing foreign interference. The turnaround started a massive protest inside the Assembly of Pakistan by the opposition party members. Prime Minister Imran Khan has called for fresh elections now in his address to the country, in fact. That took place just minutes after the Speaker rejected the motion. Imran Khan has urged people to be prepared for another round of elections, almost thanking people for their support and the Speaker for using his constitutional powers and doing the right and doing what he did. Pakistan's Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting, Farooq Habib, said that fresh elections will be held within the next 90 days. Meanwhile, the joint opposition has now submitted a no-confidence motion against National Assembly Speaker and Asad Kaisar, calling this move unconstitutional. Opposition has also announced to move the Supreme Court. They've in fact already reached the doorsteps of the Supreme Court, waiting for the Supreme Court to take up this matter on an urgent basis. Imran Khan, who came to power in 2018 with promises to create a Naya Pakistan, is at a crucial juncture now of his political career as he's lost majority after defection from his Pakistan's Tehreek-e-Insaf party.
मैं आज अपनी सारी कौम को मुबारक देना चाहता हूँ कि नेशनल असेंबली के हमारे स्पीकर ने मुस्तरद किया, रिजेक्ट किया एक वो मूव रिजीम चेंज की जो कोशिश की गई थी पाकिस्तान के 22 करोड़ अवाम में, एक बाहर से प्लान किया हुआ नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन जिसके पीछे एक फॉरेन एजेंडा था, और जो आज स्पीकर ने उसको जो रिजेक्ट किया है और ये नो कॉन्फिडेंस को जो रिजेक्ट किया, मैं सारी कौम को आज मुबारक देता हूँ। मुझे कल से इतने लोग पैगाम दे रहे थे कि जी परेशान थे कि ये क्या हो रहा है, सारी कौम के सामने ये एक गद्दारी हो रही थी, गद्दार बैठे हुए थे और साजिश हो रही थी, और मैं उनको पैगाम देना चाहता हूँ, घबराना नहीं, अल्लाह इस कौम के ऊपर देख रहा है। 27 रमज़ान को ये पाकिस्तान वजूद में आया था, ये इस तरह की साजिश इंशाल्लाह ये कौम कामयाब नहीं होने देगी। तो जो स्पीकर ने आज जो अपनी अथॉरिटी, अपनी जो पावर, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल पावर यूज़ करके जो फैसला किया है, अब इसके बाद मैंने अभी से प्रेसिडेंट साहब को वो भेज दिया है, एडवाइस भेज दी है कि असेंबलियां डिसॉल्व करें। एक डेमोक्रेटिक सोसाइटी में हम डेमोक्रेट्स अवाम के पास जाएं, अवाम से इलेक्शंस हों, अवाम फैसला करे कि वो किसको चाहती है। कोई बाहर से साजिश और इस तरह के लोग, करप्ट लोग, पैसे की बोरियों से लोगों को खरीद के इस मुल्क की तकदीर का फैसला ना करें। वो लोग जो सारे अचकन सलवा के बैठे हुए हैं और वो करोड़ों रुपया इन्होंने खर्च किया लोगों को खरीदने के लिए, ये सारा पैसा इंशाल्लाह ज़ाया होगा। और जिन लोगों ने ये पैसा लिया है, मैं आप सबको कहता हूँ कि कोई अभी भी कोई स्वाब कमा लें, कि कोई पनाह गाह पे लगा दें, कोई यतीम खाना खोल दें, कोई गरीबों के लिए मैं पैसा डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करें। और मैं अपनी कौम को आज कहता हूँ कि आप इलेक्शंस की तैयारी करें और आपने फैसला करना है। किसी बाहर की कुव्वत, किसी करप्ट लोगों ने फैसला नहीं करना कि इस मुल्क का मुस्तकबिल क्या होगा। आपने फैसला करना है इस मुल्क का। और इंशाल्लाह हम प्रेसिडेंट साहब को जब एडवाइस चला जाएगा, असेंबलीज डिसॉल्व हो जाएंगी और फिर आगे जो भी प्रोसीजर है अगले इलेक्शन का, केयर टेकर गवर्नमेंट का, वो अब शुरू हो जाएगा। मैं अपनी कौम को मुबारक देता हूँ और मैं अल्लाह का शुक्र अदा करता हूँ कि इतनी बड़ी साजिश जो मुल्क से की जा रही थी, एक इलेक्टेड 22 करोड़ की कौम जिसकी इलेक्टेड हुकूमत को गिराने की कोशिश की गई है, वो आज फेल हो।
All right, let me quickly cut across to Ashok Sajanhar, who's a former diplomat, joining us for a little understanding on what's really happening in Pakistan. Ashok, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Here, the embattled Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, almost gave a googly towards the end, right at the nick of time when he had to face the no-confidence motion. A big twist that came about where the Speaker said that this is a foreign conspiracy and therefore a no-confidence motion will not be entertained. The National Assembly must be dissolved. Now, there are many allegations now coming to fore that the Speaker could have aligned to what the Imran Khan government wanted. Imran Khan, right after coming out, addressing the nation, saying that this is the people's mandate, he's now wanting to go to elections and the people will show the opposition really what kind of support he has from the people of Pakistan entirely. Now, he's made this look like a narrative to try and tarnish and dethrone him. How do you look at this last-minute change in the situation and the happenings in the Assembly, the matter now in Supreme Court?
You know, the way I look at it is that it was very clear to Imran Khan what was going to happen. You know, the writing was very clear on the wall, even when he had given his, spoken to the nation, his address to the nation a couple of days ago. And there, of course, he did try to present a very brave front, a very macho front, that he was willing to take on everyone. But still, the fear and the ultimate, what was going to happen, that was very clear from what he said, his body language, the manner in which he said. So I think it is what this has happened is, and I think the whole country also realizes it, that he had no way out. And this is what the opposition is saying. I would tend to agree with them. This is a total massacre, so to say, of the constitution of the country, in which the Speaker of his own volition decides, rather than giving an opportunity to the members of parliament to discuss the issue and to take a vote on the no confidence motion, he suo moto decides what is this is a foreign conspiracy. I don't think that any evidence, any incontrovertible evidence has been provided by Imran Khan, although he keeps speaking about a letter that is in his possession that is shared with some members of parliament. He's shared with some senior journalists. But I think otherwise, it is very clear that the constitution of the country is being totally
trampled,
misinterpreted.
And those are the allegations, but this is what Imran Khan's party has been constantly saying, that they are using the provisions under the Constitution. They are not violating the Constitution. It's now for the Supreme Court to really to try and dissect what really happened and uphold the truth here. Let's hope that happens. Stay with us, Mr. Ashok. I'm going to cut across to our reporter joining us, Kanwar Naeem from Islamabad, our correspondent, to give us an understanding. Kanwar, law and order situation threat in Pakistan. In parts of Islamabad, we see heavy deployment of police and security. Do you anticipate a kind of situation that could unfold post this decision by the Speaker?
Yes, the security personnel were called in Islamabad ahead of no confidence motion, as it was expected that some uncertain situation can happen in Islamabad if the vote of no confidence goes against government or the opposition, because both opposition and government were their supporters and voters were ready to protest in case the no confidence motion goes against their respective parties. But as of now, no such protests or any riots or something has broken out. Everything is peaceful here in Islamabad so far, and we are expecting that the decision is in the Supreme Court's court. So we are waiting for the court's decision. As Bilawal Bhutto Zardari was talking to a private news channel in Pakistan, which you were also, I hope, I thought you were also telecasting it. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari said that we are waiting for the decision of the Supreme Court, because Supreme Court has taken suo moto action. And in case Bilawal Bhutto Zardari said that in case the Supreme Court hasn't taken the suo moto action, they were also ready for filing a petition, and their legal aids like Raza Rabbani, Farooq Naik, they were also ready to create a legal petition against what happened today at National Assembly. Because the way National Assembly was adjourned today was very unusual, and it was very apparently visible that as if the PTI's close aides like Fawad Chaudhry, Imran Khan, and the Deputy Speaker already knew that what they are supposed to do or what they are going to do.
Are you saying,
Things were
Naeem, are you trying to indicate
like
that the Speaker
fixed.
was completely aligned with what Imran Khan wanted? He was sensitized before he gave out that very very powerful speech almost. With so much conviction, the Speaker spoke saying that this is a foreign conspiracy and therefore a no confidence motion will not be entertained and this assembly is dissolved. Almost a declaration that he made without actually asking for an investigation into this foreign conspiracy theory that Imran Khan has been over the weeks building up.
Actually, this is the original issue. Basically, the government claimed that there is a foreign conspiracy going on against the government, and we were waiting that we not only we, the general public, the law experts, and the relevant authorities were also waiting that the government would provide some proofs, and they are going to prove that whether there is a conspiracy or not. But the deputy speaker was not looking in the mood of investigating it before giving it his verdict. He gave his verdict that it's a foreign conspiracy before even the government could prove it.
Yeah.
So this is what something very sounds fishy at the hand of Deputy Speaker today.
Now, we know that the Supreme Court is taking this on war footing. The Supreme Court is opening up in a little while from now. They want to take up this matter on a fast-track basis. But is there merit to the opposition's demand or their case in the Supreme Court? What is the opposition going to be arguing in Supreme Court today? PTP says that they are well within the constitutional framework to have dissolved the assembly. There was nothing unconstitutional in this. Let them debate in Supreme Court.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Naeem. Go on.
Hello?
Naeem, I can hear you.
Actually, both opposition and government. Opposition is claiming that they are going to make the law Article 6. They are going to use Article 6 against the government, whereas government is claiming that everything which happened today is under Article 5. So the opposition parties of Pakistan are accusing government of breaching the constitution, which would be dealt under Article 6, which is the contempt of constitution of Pakistan. So this is the case of opposition, and on the part of government, they are going to take the case under Article 5 of the constitution of Pakistan. So things are interesting, but we cannot comment anything unless the Supreme Court gives its verdict.
All right. Do you expect that the Supreme Court will give out a verdict today itself? Because this is a very sensitive situation and almost anticipated as a law and order situation that could unfold. And with that kind of fear, it seems like your entire country is currently on tenterhooks. Considering the situation and the sensitivity of it, do you believe that the Supreme Court will give out a verdict sooner?
It is expected that the Supreme Court is likely to give verdict as soon as possible, because there is otherwise a constitutional crisis is there to welcome Pakistan. So I don't think so the Supreme Court or any other the relevant authorities are ready to put Pakistan into constitutional crisis. So it is likely that Supreme Court is going to give their verdict as soon as possible. As you know, the Supreme Court's Chief Justice has called on the judges to discuss the matter with them. And Supreme Court is going to work on fast track, as it is being told by the sources, and it is being anticipated by the journalists and the common persons here in Pakistan.
All right. You know, Naeem, we still want to understand, as PTP has been harping constantly that they have the people's mandate. People of Pakistan are overwhelmingly on their side. They have great support, and it is the opposition's conspiracy and the foreign conspiracy that's really trying to dethrone him. Are we expecting, or are you expecting to see people out on the streets now condemning what has happened in the assembly? Is that what is expected? Do you see that happening, that people will protest against Imran Khan and this decision that was made by the Speaker?
It's PTI, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Actually, look, as we discussed earlier, that the ball is in the Supreme Court's court. So people can only protest if they want to, if they can. But the real decision is going to come out from the Supreme Court, and people of Pakistan cannot have an impact on Supreme Court's decision. Supreme Court is an independent body, and it makes its verdict on the basis of Constitution of Pakistan. As far as the protests are related and concerned, yes, obviously, there would be protests in favor of government or against the opposition. It depends on the verdict of the Supreme Court. If Supreme Court says that the verdict and the adjournment of the National Assembly was correct and the Deputy Speaker took steps in the constitutional direction, definitely protests would come out from the opposition parties. And if the Supreme Court gives its verdict that the no confidence motion is yet to be voted, then obviously, as Imran Khan has called his workers to come out in his support, and they were expecting 1 lakh people to protest in Islamabad. So obviously we can expect protests, but let's see what the Supreme Court's orders.
Yeah.
After this,
all
we
eyes
are going
on
to
what the
guess,
Supreme
or we are
Court
going
has
to
to
see
say.
what happens.
Kanwar Naeem, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. We're going to come back to you to understand what's happening there in Pakistan. It seems like the assembly now, we have opposition there still protesting inside the assembly, inside the House, and it appears that the matter is now in the Supreme Court. Will a decision come soon? That remains to be seen. We're going to continue tracking those developments right now for a short break. Now, Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's bouncer has stupefied the united opposition. Speaker has rejected the no-confidence motion, which meant fresh general elections now in Pakistan. Soon after this, Pakistan MOS INB Farooq Habib has announced that elections will be held in Pakistan within the 90 days' time. Fuming opposition has moved to the Supreme Court against this move. Leader of the opposition in the National Assembly, Shahbaz Sharif, has slammed Prime Minister Imran Khan for trying to divide the nation and pushing the country towards a civil war. Mr. Sharif has urged all state institutions to ensure smooth voting on the no-confidence resolution in the National Assembly scheduled for today. In fact, PPP chairperson Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has called this move by the Speaker as unconstitutional and urged all institutions to protect, defend and implement the Constitution of Pakistan. Nawaz Sharif's daughter, Maryam Nawaz, took a jibe at Imran Khan, saying that if this insane and fanatical person is not punished, then this country, in fact, she says that the punishment must be mandatory to Imran Khan. According to media reports, Attorney General of Pakistan Khalid Javed and Pakistan's Deputy Attorney General Raja Khalid have resigned.
Article 6 लगेगा.
Article 6 किसके ऊपर लगेगा? Article 6 किसके ऊपर लगेगा?
स्पीकर के ऊपर भी और इमरान खान के ऊपर. Article 6 लगेगा.
Article 6 किसके ऊपर लगेगा? Article 6 किसके ऊपर लगेगा?
स्पीकर के ऊपर भी और इमरान खान के ऊपर.
जैसे पूरी दुनिया को पता है, पूरा पाकिस्तान को पता है और आज खुद वजीर आजम, स्पीकर, बाकी सब ने देख लिया कि ऑपोजिशन का तादाद मुकम्मल था. हमारे पास अक्सरियत है कि हम वजीर आजम को अदम एतमाद में शिकस्त दिलवाए. आज ये नजर आते हुए आखिरी मौके पे स्पीकर साहब ने गैर आईनी काम किया है. पाकिस्तान का आईन तोड़वाया गया है. पाकिस्तान के आईन को तोड़ने का सजा वाज़ेह है. अदम एतमाद का वोटिंग आज ही होना है आईन के मुताबिक. यूनाइटेड ऑपोजिशन ने यह फैसला किया है कि हम नेशनल असेंबली में धरना देंगे जब तक हमारा आईनी हक ना दिया जाए, और हम अपना लॉयर से इस वक्त आज ही अभी सुप्रीम कोर्ट पहुंचेंगे कि हमारा पोलिंग, हमारा अदम एतमाद का वोट आज ही किया जाए. अदम एतमाद वजीर आजम साहब के खिलाफ जमा हो चुका है. वो पार्लियामान को डिसॉल्व भी नहीं कर सकता है. अदम एतमाद का मुकाबला करना पड़ेगा. स्पीकर साहब अगर ये सोच रहा है कि वो हाउस प्रोब भी कर सकता है, हमने स्पीकर साहब के खिलाफ भी अदम एतमाद जमा करके ये ऑप्शन भी उनसे छीना है.
All right, let me quickly cut across to Mona Alam, who's a journalist, giving us an understanding on what's happening in Pakistan. Mona, we see that the Chief Justice of Pakistan has arrived at the Supreme Court on a Sunday. He decides to take a look at all those petitions filed by the opposition. They're hoping for a verdict at the earliest, while Imran Khan and his government representatives say that there may not be a hearing. So all eyes now on the Supreme Court, whether the move was constitutional or unconstitutional. How would you look at this situation panning out in your country?
Yes, that's correct. The Supreme Court has made it to the Chief Justice of Pakistan has made it to the Supreme Court despite it being a Sunday, but it happens to be one of the most dramatic Sundays here in Pakistan. And I don't recall anything as such that has happened in my country throughout the last 20, 30 years that we have read or studied. But the matters are now sub judice. The ball is entirely in The ball is entirely in Supreme Court's hand. But let's see how it goes, because the fact is the move is unconstitutional. Having said that, the PTI or the former government still claims that the Supreme Court is in no position to challenge or to give any rulings against the Speaker of the National Assembly or the Speaker of any Parliament. And they're quoting a High Court judgment, a previous High Court judgment in that context, and they're saying that that may be used as a precedence, a legal precedence, which the Supreme Court has. But nonetheless, I think it still has to be seen, because the institutions are obviously, the army especially, they have completely distanced themselves from all this political chaos that's happening here. It is a constitutional crisis nonetheless. If I say it's not, then of course it's a lie. It would be false to say so or comment so. It is a constitutional crisis, and I think it would have been the right thing preemptively if Imran Khan had faced the no confidence vote, because the opposition, it was rather funny that they conducted a mock session once the session prorogued. They conducted a mock session only among themselves. They also put up a speaker of their own, who was the previous Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Ayaz Sadiq, and they did a vote count. So this was just to show the media and to prove the government that they did have the numbers against Prime Minister Imran Khan, and that has proven correct, because they were, I think, exceeding 190. The required vote count was 172, but they were exceeding 190, and that they've proven. Coalition partners were with them, and adding up to those, dissident members of the PTI were also with them. So, they have proven that they did have the numbers.
In that case, if the opposition and what they demanded has finally come to exactly what they wanted, which was an election, that's what the opposition was demanding from the start, that let's go into fresh elections, which Imran Khan refused to do so. Now with the Speaker announcing that this is foreign conspiracy and they're dissolving the Assembly, let's go into election, here's the opposition running to the Supreme Court. What happened? Why is the opposition now backtracking? If this is what they wanted, then they have it in their hands.
Yeah, that's correct. Precisely, if you look at it through this angle or this lens of the camera, I think this also looks correct, because opposition at the end of the day did want elections, and if the government wants to enter into elections, then that is of course partially what the opposition wanted. But partially that is not what the opposition wanted, because they wanted to set out certain reforms on the electoral process. They had objected to the EVMs, electronic voting machines, that the PTI government had introduced, and they had also objected to expatriates, overseas Pakistanis were given voting rights by the PTI government. So they objected to these two clauses, and they obviously were not on board with the former PTI government when these electoral reforms were introduced. So they actually have been speaking to the opposition sources. They actually want these two electoral reforms that the PTI had introduced and then go into an election, because they do not trust the EVM or the electronic voting machine. So this is the primary key, which is why the opposition wanted to stay in and form a coalition government for a good 6-8 months, do their kind of reforms, what they've been doing all this while, and then go into an election. So this is why I say it is partially yes, that the government has done what the opposition wanted, but it is partially not what they wanted, because they wanted to go into a reform first.
All right, Mona, it appears that you have the opposition, of course, waiting for the Supreme Court to give an understanding on whether they want, whether the country should go into election or not. In fact, the opposition says we'll hear it from the court, and if the court says elections, then we are sure it's going to be a clean sweep. So either ways, is it an end to Imran Khan and his regime? Of course, time will tell us. He's not completed his 5-year term, and this has come as a massive embarrassment for Imran Khan's party, undoubtedly. Mona, thank you very much for joining us with those details. And India Today continues to track those developments coming in from Pakistan. For now, a short break. Stay with us.